Hi, I'm Ian. I'm the owner of Litchfield, and you're here in Tewkesbury in Gloucestershire, which is in the southwest of the UK. So I started it when I was 18 and I was doing my A-levels at high school. I've always been car mad, so that was the basis to get into it. And then it kind of paid my way through university. We came up to Cheltenham for university and then it carried on from there. So we started originally just importing cars. Then I started tuning my own cars. Then customers would ask me to tune their cars and it escalated from there. We would do a lot of emissions testing to get approvals and things. So we had to learn quite quickly how to tune the ECUs properly. So yeah, it's just evolved. Probably started mainly with Subarus and then that progressed when the GTR came out. I'd always had R35s and RBs and things, but the R35s were it really kicked off for us with the Nissans. So we've always worked with other cars. We've done a lot of McLarens, a lot of Porsches, BMWs, but predominantly the GTR is still probably 70% of our work, and we do everything from simple servicing to billet engines and everything else in-house. We find a lot of owners, the GTR is part of their collection. They have a lot of supercars as well in their stable, so that's worked really well, and then naturally you get friends with the customers. They ask you to work on their other cars as well. But we were lucky, we had the very first GTR in Europe. So from that point onwards, we've been flat out dealing with them. The parts range is huge because we've been doing it for so long. It's escalated. That's my real enjoyment, is designing and making new stuff. Not so much because we need it, just because it's fun to do it. But then naturally over time, certainly as you start pushing the platform, you bump into sort of limitations that you need to improve. We always try and make our own stuff if we can in-house. Certainly we've got the fortunate part of being in the UK, we've got unbelievable machine shops and motorsport facilities here, so we can design and make pretty much anything we want. I can show you around and then you can take a tour around and see what you think. This is our engine assembly sort of clean room. Typically do about 50 GTR engines a year, so a good one a week is coming out. So Ryan's in charge of our engine department. Him and his team do an amazing job. So we do everything from straight rods and pistons, refreshing of the original engine, all the way up to our billet engine block, CNC cylinder heads, a huge range of options. So we can do a 3.8 litre, 4.1 litre, 4.4, we've even got a few 4.6s out there. 4.6, as a road engine it's really good, really torquey. It's a 100mm bore and then it's a 98.4mm stroke. You don't want to rev that over say 8,000, so we would normally limit the revs 7.5, more like stock. It's a road engine, so that is to do a comfortable 1,000 horsepower, 800 foot-pounds of torque, 1,000 newton meters, that sort of thing, but it does it instantaneously. So you've got a bar of boost at 2,500 RPM, all the way to 7,500. Yeah, so we do some work on the GR Yaris. So you've got GR Yaris cylinder heads here. These are our rods and pistons that we have made for us for the GR Yaris. And then we've got a block, and then it's got a reinforced CNC plate put inside to strengthen the block with additional cooling in there. So yeah, this is still in the relatively early stages compared to our GTR work, but we're doing an increasing number of Yaris projects at the moment. So this is our dyno cell. This is a Maha 4-wheel drive dyno. We're actually here with Ecitech doing some development work on the new Gen 2 Yaris. So the guys are just doing some calibration and some coding stuff at the moment. So yeah, 4-wheel drive dyno, you can simulate the road, really trick. It's basically like a wind tunnel, so there's no fan on the front, it just brings all the air through and you get a much more consistent airflow underneath the car, taking the heat out. Works really well. It's the same dyno that's sold in Germany to Porsche. BMW have got the dyno, Mercedes have got the dyno, it's really good. This is where we make a mess. This is where engines that maybe have already died come to be reborn. So we'll strip everything down here. We have all the engine covers ready for paint. We have all our deck plates ready to do honing. So everything will be stripped, cleaned, acid dipped, just make like new basically. That'll all be done in here before they then move into the clean room for assembly. Yeah, so this is our engine dyno. We can run a GTR engine in here. It's super consistent. And also you have access to the car, so you can do turbo testing. We've done loads of turbo testing on them, and it takes minutes to remove the turbo, put it back on, run it again. It's really consistent. We have a huge water tank out the back that feeds water into it, and then we have an accurate cooling system. Everything is data logged, every EGT, crankcase, additional NOx sensors, all run through our Motec system that's on there, and you get really accurate data. So this engine is a 3.8 engine that we built, and it's going to be doing some cam testing with Kelford. So they're sending us some camshafts. We're going to try them against some competing camshafts and just see what works, what doesn't work, and feed back the data. So this is our machine shop. So we will do kind of big builds and things in here in terms of machining of pistons, making downpipe, dry sump kits. We're about to make a box for this engine that's going off to Kuwait. Do a lot of kind of major machining in here. So this is our fabrication shop. We make our own intercoolers, radiators, general cooling packages in here. So we work with companies like PWR, Garrett, and produce some of our own products in-house. A lot of it's development work, like prototyping of parts. Done a lot of time with that. And then, some parts aren't big sellers. So our dry sump kit, for example, it's a lot of hours that go into that. Not many cars need that, but we'll do it all here and do it all in-house. So it's a combination. We'll do things like, we've got our own R&D office over the road, so we'll do 3D prints. So this is a new part that we're doing for the GTR that's going to convert some of our intercoolers soon. So that's a test part in plastic, and then we'll move on to CNCing. So this is going to be for a Yaris intercooler. So this is all CNC'd, then we just weld on the pipes, and then it will go on to the intercooler. Everything from CNC'd end pipe for oil cooler as well. We try and CNC as much as we can, just because it speeds up the whole fabrication time. Sometimes you have to actually fabricate it to begin with in the first place, or make a 3D print and then take it from there. Okay, so this is a GTR intercooler, Garrett Core CNC'd end tank, and then we do our smaller, kind of more popular super stock, and then we fabricate these ones ourselves, these end tanks. So that works really well as a direct replacement. And then we've had some intercoolers sent over from testing from PWR. So this is one we've made the end tanks for. It's got trialing their new core to see how that performs. Yeah, these are all additional oil coolers for the R35. We make those all in-house. And then we've got oil coolers for the power steering as well. So we've got a huge amount of Bilstein components, Alcon brakes, KW suspension. We tend to work with the kind of like a Krapovich, where they're probably their biggest UK seller of a Krapovich exhaust. So yeah, we carry a lot on the shelf because customers don't want to wait. They want it straight away, and there's often long lead times. So we try and have a decent amount of stock to service whatever a customer might need. So this is the main part of our workshop. We've got 12 ramps in here. We've got the top of the range Hunter alignment machine. We've got all the genuine Porsche diagnostic equipment, all the Nissan diagnostic equipment, BMW. It's pretty extensive, the work we can do. This is actually our original workshop. So we've got another Hunter alignment elite, got all of our tyre changing equipment, our road force balancing equipment, and on the other side we've got our gearbox preparation areas and strip down areas. So this is our body shop. Well, it's all part of the bigger kind of philosophy of trying to do everything in-house. And in here we can do our colour changing, simple repair work, restoration work for customers' cars. The cars are getting a little bit older now, so they just need bringing back. Yeah, and then we're very popular with colour changing. So we do a spray on plastic, which we can change the colour of a car, and you can peel it off, leaving the original colour intact. And then this is our new R35, a new shop car. Yeah, we've got a bad habit of buying too many shop cars. So this was a white 17 car, and we're changing it to ice grey, which is a Porsche colour. It's got a nice sort of pearlescent in the paint. This is our PPF studio. So we've got our own plotting machine to do PPF, a natural evolution to looking after our customers' cars. They want to protect them, and so we want to offer that service. So we've been doing that for a number of years, works really well. So this is actually our own GT4. This was black. We changed the colour to blue with our peelable film. Done all the stripe down the bonnet. And this has just come in today because we're trialling some new windscreen film. So it's a peelable windscreen film we're going to trial on our car. So this is our storage facility, and yeah, we'll show you some of the more unique cars that we've got tucked away. Veyron, we look after it for a customer. Done some work on it through the workshop, but mainly it's for storage and just making sure it's ready when he wants it. We've had a good look at them. Yeah, we've had a good look at them. But I think I'll stick with the GTR. So we've got one of my cars, which is an immaculate 993. It's only done 8,000 miles, Carrera S. So it's quite nice to drive some of the older stuff every now and again. So this is a customer that bought the car in auction. It needs some love spent on it, and although we don't ordinarily do RBs, if we've got a good customer and they ask us to look at it, we'll look at it at some point. So there's no rush on this one. We're going to kind of work our way through it and just bring it back to where it should be. So back in 2011, Nissan won the GT1 championship, and at the time it was the FIA's kind of pinnacle of sports car racing. So they were racing against Maserati, Aston Martin. The rules meant that it had to be a production car. It had to run a V8 engine, and it had to come from your stable as well. So this was a rear-wheel drive GTR. Reportedly, the cars were £1 million each. And there was 4 race cars built, 1 brand new chassis. After they won the championship, the FIA decided to ban the GT1 car because it was just too expensive, and they started to push people towards GT3 cars. They didn't really have a home for themselves. So we bought a car for a customer. It was a sister car of the one that won, and we bought all of the spare parts. So we've got like 15 windscreens, 5 gearboxes, you name it, we've got it for the GT1 car. And we bought the brand new shell. And then over the years, we've been then building it up into our own car. So the GTR actually ran the Titan 5.6 litre V8 engine. So we've got one of those that we're building up into the race spec engine. And then hopefully next year, we'll be able to take this out to shows and hopefully go Legends racing it around Europe. Even when it's racing, and there was like Salines and all the big stuff from around the world, you could tell the GTR was coming down the road. It's got side exhaust, beautiful equal length manifolds down both sides. It's a properly well engineered bit of kit, all carbon fibre. There's not a huge amount of GTR left, in all honesty. Okay, so this is one of our LM20 models. We did a special edition of 20 cars to celebrate 20 years in business. So we took a standard UK Nissan GTR, we changed the suspension, the chassis parts, the wheels, the brakes, power, 666 horsepower. Yeah, it was just a celebration of everything we did. It was a standard engine. We gave them a 3-year warranty. They're all brand new cars, so it came with a 3-year warranty. To date, no warranty claims on the standard LM20, so it's worked really well. And then this customer just had to go to the next level, as they often do. So this was now running a 4.4 billet engine, Motec, you name it, it's got it. So this started out as a normal 2010 GTR, and it's evolved and evolved and evolved. So this is essentially now a 4-wheel drive GT3 car. So it has the full GT3 bodywork, light and shell, our FIA roll cage that we do. It's got our engine, it's full GT3 chassis, flat floor, side X exhaust, everything. This is built to set lap times, specifically to go around the Nürburgring. So this is actually running a Dodson upgraded gearbox, a normal GTR gearbox, because it can handle the power. A GT3 only has to cope with 600 horsepower, and it runs the sequential box, which is like chocolate in comparison. So we bought all the GT3 parts from the GT3 team, installed all of those. It's been in the wind tunnel at Myra, so we've done quite a bit of wind tunnel testing with it. So it's a pretty special car. So originally we wanted to put the cooling pack in the rear for weight distribution, and we put some bigger radiators in. And we thought, a bit like a rally cross car, we could mount side entrance to the radiators, and we were going to exit out of where the number plate would be. But we quickly discovered on testing on circuit that there's so much of a vacuum formed on the back of the car with the aero that no air can get out. They would work brilliantly up to about 50 miles an hour, and as soon as you went over that, there was nothing coming through. And we started bolting on bigger and bigger side pods to try and direct the air in, and it wasn't making any difference. There was so much pressure on the back, it wouldn't matter how big the side pods were, it wasn't going to work. Those are all going to be filled in, and it'll go back to a more standard design. It's very impressive. We discovered it initially testing because you could see the gearbox temperatures going through the roof where we had the coolers in the back. And then we started mounting MAF sensors so we can measure the airflow going through. So there's plenty of airflow going through the side pods, but then when they got to the radiators, they just stopped dead because there was so much of a vacuum on the back of the car. And the moment you drop below 50 miles an hour, suddenly the airflow went through the roof and everything cooled down. We tried extending the ducts, descending it into the diffuser, we tried all sorts, but the reality is we need to mount it back at the front again. So this is a journalist called Jeffro, who was Top Gear America's host. This is his personal 996, and it was a project we started with him a few years back where he had a problem with his original engine, and we made the silly mistake of suggesting we could put one of the more modern 991 engines in it. And then it's evolved and evolved and evolved. So he's now got a full 991, it's got custom power steering it needed, it's running Cyvex, it's an absolute monster. Yeah, we have a lot of customers, a lot of cars get sent for us around the world. So yeah, I mean a lot of our own cars as well, waiting to be worked on. Yeah, we're always busy. We've got everything from our McLaren, M2, M3, our Yaris. We've got another one of our GTRs that's about to go off to the Nürburgring, so we're just finishing that off at the moment. That's actually a standard engine, but it's running on our dry sump. We thought if we're gonna make a mistake with a dry sump, let's do it on a standard engine. But it's been running like that for a year perfectly, so it's been doing really well. So yeah, that's running Superstock intercooler, some new intake system on there. It's got Dodson's new gear set that we're testing, so they've sent us over a new gear set to try, make sure it drives properly, so we want to make sure it drives as well as a standard car before we offer it to customers. And then it's got the latest Ecotech software that's not released yet that we're working on, and there's a lot of work gone into that. There's a lot of NDAs we signed, which means we can't talk about a lot, but there's a lot of cars that you would have seen at Goodwood this year, from supercars and hypercars that have got our parts in it or tuning. At least 2 or 3 big brands that you would have seen there. We've done a lot of work with Nissan, dating back, I think I can talk about it now, to the Duke R. We did the tuning on the Duke R when that came out. And we've done more recently, done some work on the R50 and the stuff like that. So we've always had a really good relationship with Nissan, and it's worked really well both ways, I think. So the GTR Festival we were talking about coming next August, we're really excited about it. We've got 4 or 5 of our own GTRs. We'll try and make sure this is there, a few of our other special cars that we've got. So yeah, any excuse to do anything GTR related, we'll be all over it. We see a lot of collectors' cars, so there's an unbelievably good amount of like pristine cars, immaculate, low mileage cars. The scene's fantastic in the UK. There's been a lot of GTRs sold here. They've become a cult classic. There's no pretension to it, so everyone loves the GTR. It's not like you're driving around in some other exotica which people don't particularly like to see. The GTR everyone loves, so yeah, any excuse to get some of our customers and friends together will be really good.